Welcome back, everybody. It's Tuesday, July 8th, 2025. Today we have a big change to the Parole Board, a company that isn't rolling over for the UAW, and two lawmakers who are giving up their seats. I'll also be taking issue on a published ranking of barbecue cities. Now, I'm taking issue on principle since I rarely eat barbecue when I'm outside God's country. So what do I know about LA and Philly Q? I'm Mike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama.
This podcast is supported by Talkspace.
When my husband came home from his military deployment, readjusting was hard for all of us. Thankfully, I found Talkspace.
Talkspace provides professional support from licensed therapists and psychiatric providers online. Military members, veterans, and their dependents ages 13 and older can get fast access to providers, all from the privacy of their computers or smartphones.
I just answered a few questions online, and Talkspace matched me with a therapist. We meet when it's convenient for me, and I can message her anytime. It was so easy to set up, and they accept TRICARE. Therapy was going so well, my husband and I started seeing a couples therapist through Talkspace too.
Talkspace works with most major insurers, including TRICARE. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com/military. Go to Talkspace.com/military to get started today. That's Talkspace.com/military.
Governor Kay Ivey has made a change at the Alabama Parole Board, reports AL.com's Ivana Rinkew. With Parole Board Chair Lee Gwathney supplying a nearly automatic no vote, the board's 2023 parole rate tumbled well below the board's own guidelines. It's rebounded somewhat, although Gwathney has remained a reliable no in most cases. Now, that's ignited the debate over just how tight the parole board ought to be. The board's stated guidelines called for a parole rate around 80%. And some officials and former Alabama Chief Justices from both parties have called for parole to be more attainable for those who qualify. State Attorney General Steve Marshall was among those wanting to keep many of those inmates behind bars. Marshall, just last week, called on the governor to reappoint Gwathney to the chair of the parole board. Instead, Ivey replaced Gwathney with Hal Nash, the chief corrections deputy for the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Ivey called Nash a, quote, tough on crime, fair, and pro-law enforcement candidate with leadership experience, end quote. He takes over the chair position immediately. A new big middle school is going up next to Hazel Green High School, reports AL.com's Megan Plotka. It'll enroll 1,200 7th and 8th graders in northern Madison County and cost $53 million to build. Builders will break ground this month, and the school is expected to open for the 2027-28 school year. Other coming changes to that school district include a new 12-classroom wing for Hazel Green High School and the transition of Meridianville Middle School to an intermediate school for 5th and 6th grades. Officials with the International Motors powertrain manufacturing plant in Huntsville apparently aren't going to just idly watch the United Auto Workers Union move into their workforce. AL.com's William Thornton reports that the company has made a case to its employees ahead of a possible election. Last week, employees received a letter that read, in part, to be clear, we strongly believe that selecting an outside organization like a union to represent you in your dealings with the company and having to join the union and pay union dues is not necessary here in Huntsville. Now, the UAW has spent time and money over the past couple years trying to get footholds in the South. In Alabama, it's found disappointment with an election loss at the Mercedes-Benz plant in Vance and a stalled effort at Hyundai in Montgomery. A couple of state lawmakers are stepping aside. Tom Butler, a Republican who's represented parts of Madison and Limestone counties in the state legislature since 1982, is retiring from the Senate, reports AL.com's Scott Turner. Butler is an 81-year-old retired pharmacist. Among other things, he's been credited for his roles in road projects such as the four-laning of Alabama 53 to the Tennessee line and the future widening of Highway 72. Also, the Alabama Daily News reported that State Representative Debbie Wood, a Valley Republican, is moving out of her district, which is parts of Chambers and Lee counties, and will resign. She told Alabama Daily News that her husband landed a job in the Florida Panhandle, so they're moving close to the state line. Well, I've talked about listicles here before. That's an article that gives you some sort of list or survey or study in list form. Some are informative, or at least offer a glimpse into societal trends. Others are quite unscientific and mostly for debate. And others are just awful and misleading. You have to determine how much to trust each one by considering the source, the source's sources, and then weighing that against your own personal experience. All that said, the lawn care company Lawn Starter has delivered to the world 2025's best BBQ cities in America. Now, I was already a little suspect there because in their reporting, they use the letters BBQ. Now, that's fine in the name of a restaurant or for marketing's sake. It's great. But barbecue is an actual word in the dictionary and everything. To people who love their country and mothers, it means slow-cooked pork shoulder, and many good level-headed people expand that to include slow-cooked ribs or even beef, and the event at which slow-cooked meat is served. But then others contort the word barbecue to include the act of slow cooking meat and even a dang grill that uses direct heat. Get behind me, Satan. So I'm not sure how seriously Lawn Starter took its list of BBQ cities, but it did use 13 metrics that included barbecue access, quality based on customers' reviews, and competition awards. Now, let me give you the results. Kansas City was number one. That shouldn't be too big of a shock if you're not a pulled pork purist. The rest of the top 10 was Los Angeles, Houston, St. Louis, Austin, Chicago, Las Vegas, Memphis, Nashville, and New York. Clearly, access, or the number of available restaurants, was overweighted here. Now, before you get to an Alabama city on this list, you get to Orlando at number 17, which I'm sure there are some fine barbecues somewhere around Orlando. I'm not looking to the mouse for my cue. Also ahead of Alabama, cities include Miami, Philadelphia, and Cincinnati. Also Denver, which I can vouch for because the last time I was there, I ate at a Jim and Nick's branch. Finally, at number 71, right behind Baltimore, is the first Alabama city, Birmingham. Mobile is at 85, right behind Fresno. And Huntsville is at 87, right behind San Jose. I mean, what's next? Grits in Green Bay or Chow Chow in Walla Walla? It all may call for a long road trip to see if this is legit, but if you'd like to go on a shorter road trip, you can opt for some of those unsung Alabama barbecue joints that Haley Lawrence has talked about on this show. The folks at This Is Alabama have taken nominations and now have a field of candidates for Best Unsung Barbecue in Alabama. There are candidates in Oxford, Cropwell, Prattville, and more. They might save us that barbecue pilgrimage to Baltimore. I don't know. But you can vote by clicking on the link in show notes. Also, before I go, we're going to try something different here on Down in Alabama. I get tired of hearing my own voice on the show, believe it or not. And in the spirit of the short news podcast, I'd like to get quick commentary from any of you on pretty much anything that isn't slanderous or R-rated or so politically one-sided. I get tired of running the same thing. Think of this as an audio tweet only by decent people. I'm talking about you. If you have a comment, good or bad, about the news or politics or sports or whatever's on your mind and want to share it, call 205-304-1814 and leave it on our voicemail line. No need to leave a name. We're going to see how this works doing it anonymously. Note that after the beep, we will take the first 15 seconds you leave. So keep it quick. I'd love to get enough to periodically include them right here on this podcast. That number again, 205-304-1814. Hope to hear from y'all. Thanks for listening to us. We'll be back here in the morning. Until then, come by and see us anytime you want to on the internet at al.com.